Hey, I'm here with Robert Scoble, world famous Robert Scoble. Robert, you see hundreds and hundreds of startups every year.
Yep.
What have you seen recently that excites you?
Well, I'm seeing a range of things that I call contextual software. And that includes wearable sensors. It includes weird new databases like Cloudbase that let you do writing and pulling out of the data in 40 nanoseconds or less. It includes social software like Facebook. Facebook is building an engine where it brings you media based on who you are, and the more you tell it who you are, the better the media and the better the advertising. It includes these Google glasses from Google, which really are about 18 months from now, maybe somewhere in that range, a year to 2 years away, right? But these are going to have lots of sensors. They're going to have a camera, so I'm going to look at you and maybe it'll do face detection on you and say Don Dodge in your Google Plus account or your Facebook account. And they have a gyroscope, right? So it can tell whether I'm spinning around or whatever, if I'm going skiing, right? It has an accelerometer, it has a compass, so it knows I'm looking at you south or east or west or whatever. And it has maybe some other things. And it certainly has a microphone and an earphone. It has GPS, so it knows I'm standing here and you're standing there, right? If we were both wearing glasses, it'd know where we are in space. So where does that all go? And then SRI is showing me some stuff that's going to turn into a new kind of calendar. It's going to look into your Gmail and your Google Calendar and look for context. And what do I mean by that? But if we're setting up a meeting for a week from now, we're going to email back and forth, and we're going to say, hey, I want to meet with you and talk about startups, or well, talk about startups, that's context. And so can it pull that out and show it to me? Oh yeah, Don wanted to talk about startups. You know, I need to get ready for this meeting, and maybe it'll prompt me as, hey, I need to get tuned up. I need to know what I'm talking about so I know what this meeting is about. Google Now is already showing me that there's a place for this new contextual world or smart notifications, because it knows I'm going to meet you in an hour and it takes 49 minutes to drive there and maybe the traffic's a little bit rough. It's going to look up at the traffic and the weather, and it's going to tell me stuff that I need to know. Hey, you better leave because it's raining. You better grab a jacket because it's raining. You better leave now because there's an accident on the way, right? And so it'll know the context of what we're trying to do and where I'm going to do it with you. And it told me lots of stuff. So there's so much coming. I mean, there's camera apps coming that join our pictures just because we were in the same space and we're friends on Facebook. There's new TV apps coming that are for the iPad and show me TV based on our liking behavior, both mine and my friends. Because my friends, if all my friends like Mad Men, I better watch Mad Men because that's important, right? So all sorts of new stuff. It's really cool. So fun. I'm really alive. I'm really like, oh man, there's an age coming, and that's why I'm writing this book called The Age of Context.
Excellent. So you see startups all over, not just Silicon Valley, but all over the place. Where are you seeing the best innovations?
Well, you know, Silicon Valley is still San Francisco, Silicon Valley, San Jose is still a special place. There's no place like it. But geeks are centering around innovation zones. You know, New York, I'm going to Seattle next week, Tel Aviv, Shenzhen, Shanghai, and Beijing. After that, Berlin, London. After you name those 6 or 7 places, it gets tough to tell you where innovation's coming from. Maybe somewhere in Brazil, right? Maybe India. But after that, it's really tough in the world to say there's good innovation happening, there's startups happening, there's an ecosystem of entrepreneurialism, there's something happening. It really happens in these 7 or 8 ecos, you know, and eco zones, or not eco zones, entrepreneur zones, you know, tech zones.
So you try lots of mobile apps. You've probably seen more than most people. What are the top 4 or 5 apps that you use all the time or that you love?
I actually have about 80 because I went through my iPhone and I deleted all apps that I haven't used in the last month, or but like, oh, this app, I translate voice. If you're traveling and you're in a Spanish-speaking country, you can say, "Can you get me a beer, please?"
Basically,
Oh. Can you get me a beer, please? Can you get me a beer, please?
Wow.
And it says it in Spanish, right?
Awesome.
And I can, if I turn up my speaker, you could actually hear that. What else? I use Waze while I'm driving so I can see accidents in front of me. I use Instagram and Facebook for photos, Facebook for keeping up with the world, Twitter for studying, my 33,000 friends in the tech industry who are all talking about cats or whatever they talk about. Flipboard for reading Twitter because it filters it and makes it beautiful and it's more understandable. Oh God, on and on. I mean, I could go for an hour talking about apps. Let's just punch through some of them. On traveling, United Airlines app, Hipmunk for finding flights, TripIt for telling me information while I'm sitting in the plane. Hey, your plane just got canceled. Or when I get to the rental car agency, here's your confirmation number, right?
So when you see a new app that replaces or has some functionality similar to what you already have, how does it get you over the edge to say, all right, I'll try it, or I'll replace it?
That depends. If it's in a new place like this Translate app, first of all, this Translate app has 1 million users or 2 million users already before I even found it. So part of why I listen to early adopters is they tell me, hey, you should try this thing, right? Early adopters are out there trying new things, and I can't see it all. I don't have enough hours in the day to try 600,000 apps, but I watch patterns in my friends. What gets me over the hump? If it's in a new space, if it's some app that does something radically new, it has a lower bar. If it's an app in a crowded space, for instance, if you were pitching me a photo sharing app, it has to do something mind-blowing, something I just didn't expect, that's magic, that's different. Like I saw one coming in a week that automatically joins us together as we shoot pictures in the same space. That's different than Instagram, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, okay, I can use that with my wife, or I can use that taking pictures of you right now, right? And it'll do something mind-blowing, different, magic.
So every startup wants to talk to Robert Scoble. Yeah. Every startup wants you to use their product and talk.
And Eric Lammerding at Apple, and you.
So how
there's
how
like
do they get to
500
you?
people. It's not just me. It's 500 people who are like tastemakers, or early adopters, or who are insiders, who are, how do I get you to give me $100,000 for my new startup? It's the same thing. And it's the same thought process. We're looking for something that nobody else sees, that is early, that's different.
So how does an unknown startup get to Robert Scoble?
Call me, 425-205-1921. My phone number's on my blog. It's like not hard. But you call me and go, hey, Scoble, I have this startup. Well, then what? You have to have a story.
Right, so the pitch has to be a 2-minute pitch on what it is, how it works, why it's important.
And why you're different. Hey, I have a photo sharing app. I know you've seen Instagram and Flickr and and the Facebook app, but I have an app that does something that nobody else does. And that's the key. You have to know what differentiates you from the crowd. Or I have a 15-year-old female founder, and she's really cute. Some people pitch me that, and sometimes that gets into the press, right? You have to know your story. The other day, an entrepreneur picked me up in a Tesla S. He said, "Do you want to drive a Tesla S?" Yeah, I do, actually. Another startup said, "Hey, we got Cuban cigars. You want to get together and have some Cuban cigars?" Sure.
So good bribes help.
Having a story that gets attention, that gets me to not think of you as just another schmo, helps. I'd rather see you have an extraordinary product, But some of these startups are seeing me early, and they want feedback. They want to know how they fit into the, are they on the right track, or do they have an idea that matters? And that's cool too. I mean, I actually like seeing companies early, not because of me, but that tells me, like Instagram showed me three months before they shipped. Flipboard was like 3 months before. Saludo was 3 months. Siri was 6 months because it slipped, you know, in the time that they came to my house and showed it. But companies that do that are better. And why? Because they're showing it around to people, not just me. They're showing it around to people, taking that feedback and making the product better. And I also have more time to think about it. It's like, oh, Siri just showed me this cool thing. And I had a story when the embargo ended, right? And I had it written out in my head. I could write it in 10 minutes because it was like, I've been thinking about it for 6 months. It was playing in my head for 6 months, and I was talking to other people about how it fit into the world. And so I had a really good story. If you call me an hour before you launch, it's like, what can I do? All I can do is rewrite your press release. I don't have any context with you. I don't know your team. I don't know how this fits into the world. I don't know, I haven't had any of the reciprocity that other companies have put into me, so I feel emotionally tied to the product, right? Mm-hmm. So all that fits. There is no one thing that'll get somebody like me or Arrington or, GigaOM to talk about you. It's a number of small little things, and I look at companies as a process, not as a one-time event. If you think getting in the New York Times is going to make your company, you're really screwed, because getting Scoble to write about you is not going to make your company. As egotistical and as narcissistic as I am, it's not going to make your company. Because if you don't have a great product, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I tell 101.9 million people. People are going to try out and go, Scoble, you're full of,
So how many new products do you see each year?
Better question is how many each week.
Each week. Okay, let's start with each week.
Like last week was at least six. So one a day at least, and I probably had twice that many meetings.
Wow. Yeah. And how many of those excite you to the point that you'll try it?
Last week, 4.
4 out of 6.
Which was extraordinary, because I haven't been this excited about the world in a long time. So yeah, there's something happening in the world. There's a new wave, a new age coming, this age of context. Sensors, maturing social networks, right? New kinds of databases that let us write and read in real time. There's like 5 or 6 trends like this that I'm seeing happen all at the same time. And also all these data silos like Foursquare and Food Spotting and Spotify and Facebook are all hooking together, are all coming together, which means we're going to see a new system come about in the next 2 or 3 years. That's going to be pretty mind-blowing.
Well, it sounds like the party is starting, so thank you very much for the time. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.